sewage lines from the main structure to the septic. During the survey, the arborist did identify 11 dead trees on the entire lot that should be removed. Mitigation of all trees proposed for removal would require a minimum of 15 trees to be planted, but the project proposes to plant 16 new oak trees. This slide shows some of the development standards that the project was required to comply with. The orange table lists the allowed and proposed setbacks for developments in the OSR district, which shows that the project does exceed the requirements and complies with the setback standards. The purple table on the right lists the floor area of all proposed buildings on the usable area of the site, which only totals to 6% building coverage. And in the Old Agoura, in addition to building coverage, the Old Agoura design guidelines also sets a maximum floor area ratio dependent on the size of the lot and the slope. Based on the usable area of the site and the 17% slope, the development should not exceed a floor area ratio of 6,518 square feet. When accounting for all the exemptions the guidelines allows, the project's FAR comes out to 6,464 square feet, which is below the maximum. And the minimal build-out does help the project maintain 66% of undisturbed open space on the site. The overall building height measured from finished grade to the top of the tallest roof peak is 24 feet and below the 35-foot maximum. On top of the general height of structures, there is a standard restricting the elevation rise of buildings relative to the elevations of the slopes on the hillside lots. So for this project, the building would not be able to be constructed taller than 15 feet above the average elevation of the rear yard setback line. But this project is proposed significantly below the elevation of that line, so it helps to preserve the entire hillside views off of Chesbrough Road. So moving on to the design and architecture, the proposed architectural style of the house is a contemporary farmhouse which features articulated roof lines and wall facades. To highlight the variations of the wall planes, a project proposes to use a monochromatic palette ranging from beige to dark gray. For example, on this rendering of the front elevation, a mix of vertical gray wood-like siding is proposed on recessed portions of the exterior, which is in contrast to the beige horizontal siding that highlights another wall plane on the same elevation. For added visual interest, the project will also include a beige hued stone veneer around the garage doors. The structures will also feature a gable metal seam roof, which is consistent with the contemporary farmhouse style. To give it more of a rustic appearance on a modern style, the main residence features exposed timber framing to create a focal point around the main entrance. And I'd also like to make a correction on the color material attachment of the staff report, which shows a walnut stained sample for the wooden frame. The applicant did inform me that the rendering is more accurate in terms of the color, and the actual stain being used would be more of a dark brown. So lastly, permeable pavers would be used on all walkways and the motor court, which helps with the utility of the site while also allowing rainwater to percolate directly through the pavers and minimizing the amount of drainage lines that come with typical concrete. On this rendering, we see the outdoor living area, which features the same colors and materials used on the front elevation. In this instance, the timber framing is used on a larger scale compared to the front elevation and stone veneers that are used minimally on this elevation, but is used around the pool area for a more cohesive appearance. This elevation also shows how the roof lines and wall planes vary to articulate the different materials being used. And this rendering shows the two detached accessory structures, which utilizes the same architectural style and the same colors and materials featured on the primary. On this one, we can see the steps located on the right side of the barn, which would lead to the horse keeping in the back. Lastly, here's another perspective, this time facing southwest, which shows the primary residence and the accessory structure located on opposite sides of the motor court. And before I conclude, I just wanted to talk briefly about the environmental review for the project. As I mentioned earlier, the project is located within the Palo Quemado tract, which was created in 2000. The creation of the tract required an environmental impact report to be drafted, which analyzed all the potential impacts that a full build-out of all the residential lots would have in the area, which included biological, geological, cultural, and hydrology, just to name a few. It was anticipated that there would be impacts if and when lots are developed, but with proper mitigation, the potential of those impacts would be reduced. In comparison to what was originally anticipated by the EIR, the project reduces the density by combining two lots that would have had a residence developed on each one. The proposed project would still occupy the flat building pads that were designated exclusively for Lot 5 and 6, because the project still includes a single-family residence and separate accessory structures. The city's environmental consultant evaluated the proposed project in consideration of what was already anticipated in the 2000 certified EIR and found that the project does not exacerbate the environmental impacts that were anticipated and accounted for in the mitigation measures. So an addendum to the EIR was prepared, which included some refinements to two of the mitigation measures related to biological resources. And the purpose of the addendum is essentially to confirm that the proposed project would not be more environmentally impactful than what was already studied, and that no new mitigations are required. So that staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve conditional use permit case number CUP 2023-0025, site plan architectural review permit case number SPR 2023-0043, Oak Tree permit case number Oak 2023-0083, and lot merger case number lot 2023-0009, subject to conditions, and adopt the addendum to the certified EIR for the Paul Camado Ranch tract based on the findings of the draft resolutions. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions, and the applicants are also available. Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. So with that, does any commissioner have any questions of staff? And I will start with Commissioner Stein.
First of all, thank you very much for the presentation. You mentioned that a future additional dwelling unit, will that be approved tonight, or is that subject to future Planning Commission approval?
So accessory dwelling units are not approved by Planning Commission. They are ministerial, so they would essentially just go to the building, the public counter, and acquire a permit there.
Okay. And then they mentioned that the dead trees, were this the result of the fires, or was it just other causes that?
Some of it is the fires. Some of it is just general decay.
But all the other trees have been looked at, and they're in good condition. And where are you said 16 oak trees are going to be planted? Was
Yes.
there an area that you designated? I missed that.
I didn't include it in the staff or in the presentation, but there is I believe there's a separate landscape plan in the attachments that shows where those trees are being planted.
Okay. And did we hear anything from Old Agoura? Any comments from them?
Yes, so in 2024, they did provide a letter supporting the project. Originally, I think it was designed slightly different. I think it was primarily the garage that they had an issue with, but the design was modified to incorporate a garage and a barn. So they were still supportive of the project, even if there was no barn back in 2024.
Thank you. I'll defer the rest of my questions to the applicant.
Okay, great. Commissioner Blatzer?
Yeah, I have two questions. The replacement of the oak trees, how big are the oak trees going to be?
It varies, so they're different sizes, and that's I believe it's in the landscape plan. It tells us what size each tree is going to be. And I can defer that to the applicant so they can make that clarification too.
And also, what is an Arizona crossing?
So an Arizona crossing it's kind of like a drainage channel. It directs water down to a creek. This allows cars to drive over the Arizona crossing. Essentially, the water flows on top of the concrete.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair Sharon?
All right. Thank you so much for the presentation. You went through it fast. I tried to catch it. I tried to keep up, but I have some questions. Is the pool, so the pool on the side of the house where the creek, where the closest to the creek, so I'm assuming it's sloped there. Is there going to have to be any sort of retaining wall or any sort of support in order to not encroach on the creek?
So there would be no retaining walls here. So I guess the purpose of the grading would be to make it more gradual.
Okay.
But I don't believe there are any significant retaining walls here. The only significant retaining wall would be along this back area, behind the detached garage. And I believe the engineer is here, so they can also make that clarification.
Okay, and then in the renderings, I saw some very high windows. Is that just high ceilings with windows, or is that a second story? Because I thought yeah, right there. So I just wanted clarification on, it's a single story, just high ceilings, high windows, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. What's the impact in removing the dead trees? Would that be done by arborist, like trained arborist, or would it be done by the construction team with an arborist on site?
That would be with a certified arborist monitoring whoever removes it, whoever they hire to remove it.
And are they sprinkled between living trees?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and so we're just gonna, the arborist will really be the one monitoring that process?
Correct.
Okay. Is there an impact on the creek during this?
No, but before they actually start constructing, one of the mitigation measures requires them to notify the California Department of Fish and Wildlife to find out whether they need to apply for a lake bed stream agreement. It's confusing. Is it a stream bed?
Lake and stream bed
There you go.
alteration.
Yes, that one. So they'll be required to notify CDFW before they start construction.
Okay, perfect. So I definitely understand the need to merge the lots. In the future, could they lots split at a different place now that they have one massive lot? Is that potential?
They wouldn't be able to because we would look at whether the structures would be consistent with the design standards that are being looked at today. So we would evaluate it, and likelihood they wouldn't be able to.
So there wouldn't be a potential of merging the lots now and then potentially where we get that narrow portion of the lot, lot splitting it and making the back half a separate lot.
Are you referring to splitting this part?
Yeah, splitting, well, this is like both lots together, and now would there be a potential of splitting this lot in a different direction? So, do you see where the most narrowest part in the middle of the screen, the middle of the
here?
map? Like, could they split those lots?
Are you talking about this area
Yeah.
right here?
Yeah, well, anywhere, but like, could they split this now 5-acre lot?
I don't believe they would be able to because this lot is deed restricted, so there would be no possibility for development in this back area. So, I mean, I don't want to say no. Anything is possible, but we'd have to evaluate it based on what they propose.
It would also depend on the maximum lot size. So if theoretically, the finished merged lot would have that undevelopable area in the back. If you take that undevelopable area, remove that, and then have the rest of the entire lot, if that lot was able to be subdivided and still meet the minimum lot requirements, then they could technically subdivide it, but that action would go back to the planning commission.
Got it, okay, all right. And then on the project scope map, you did mention the ADU, but you didn't put it on there. Is that correct? Or like potential ADU?
Yes, that's correct. So I didn't leave it in there because the Planning Commission doesn't review ADUs.
Okay, but will the FAR, the current FAR that is being proposed, will that take into consideration any ADU proposal in the future?
Only if the ADU is above 800 square feet.
Okay, all right. And then you mentioned the fence coloring. You put that in the conditions of the permit, so there's nothing, if we agree, there's nothing for us to do besides approve the conditions.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, I think those are my questions for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Sharon. And thank you, Katrina, for your very thorough report and answering, Commission's questions. I echo some of the same, things that some of the other commissioners asked, but I wanted to just ask a little bit about the hydrology again. So with the, I guess, like, stream management, those, where the two streams converge is nowhere near the structures, correct? It's like below grade.
Yes, so the drainage course is actually below the grade of the actual building pad, and it's significantly set back from those areas.
Okay. And so the pool is out of that, is out of where that potential, if there was, a large flood, it wouldn't impact, like you wouldn't have the pool water commingling with the flood water.
Correct.
Unless it was a very, very serious flood. And
Yeah.
okay. And with the area that's undevelopable, it's hard to say. So the ADU would not be able to be put there, even though it's not subject to our review.
No, they would not be able to construct an ADU in the restricted area.
Okay. So with the deed restriction on that, it's just basically open space that they can use as, to ride their horses or parkland or?
Essentially.
Okay. And there are no restrictions on where the parcel of land borders the Ventura County line in open space?
Can you repeat the question?
Sorry, so where the property line is up there, I know that the equestrian area kind of abuts that, but there are no clear restrictions, or there isn't anything related to having to get Ventura County involved with anything since it's on the border, correct?
As long as they remain within their property lines, which this project is, I don't think there should be any issue with Ventura County.
Okay. It's funny because everyone always says, you're literally on the Ventura County line, and you are literally on the Ventura County line here. I will defer any other questions until after the applicant has given their presentation. Thank you for your report. And any follow-ups before we move on?
Another question. Can you explain more about the geologic hazard zone? What is involved?
So I believe there was a landslide years ago. I don't know the specifics about it, and so that was deemed hazardous. So no building should be proposed in that area.
Okay, thank you.
Just to follow up on that, that's the large portion of the lot number 6.
Correct.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so I will now defer. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Does any commissioner have any ex parte communications to disclose at this time?
Yes, Commissioner Platzer, I visited the site.
Commissioner Stein visited the site.
Okay, great, thank you. So with that, I will now defer to the applicant. You and your representatives will have a total of 15 minutes for your presentation. So you're welcome to come up. There is no green light. When the yellow light appears, you will have 1 minute to wrap up your comments before the light turns red. And you can adjust the microphone and begin when ready.
All right. All right, good evening. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Katrina, for the presentation. Can you guys hear me? Closer? Okay. I'll get close. Yeah, okay. You hear me better? Okay. All right, good evening. My name is Adam Yona. I'm the representative of the owner, the project designer. We've been working together with planning, with Robbie, with Katrina, over the last few years to get to this point. I just wanted to get a brief kind of overview of the project. I'll probably touch up on some things that Katrina already said. Just overall, this project is a result of merging two lots that we talked about, where in total we have 5.41 acres. This allowed us to take a more comprehensive approach to our design and create a cohesive site plan that responds to the land rather than dividing it into separate developments. From the outset, our focus was to minimize the project's impact by carefully placing the structures within the natural landscape. This preserves the existing oak trees, reduces visibility from the Chesborough Road, and from the nearby hiking trails. The project includes a main residence, a barn, garage, and concentrating on a single, and we concentrate on a single-story structure. It has been distributed into a series of smaller articulated volumes that better reflect the scale and character of the surrounding rural environment. And you can see it on the site plan. I think the ADU question that you guys had, it's Katrina, yeah, it's right up there. So that's the future place. So it's part of those structures. And Katrina, if you can go to the next slide, please. So these are the renderings. I think most of them you've already seen. But the main home has been intentionally designed as a single-story structure to further reduce its visual presence. And its placement between existing oak trees allows the development to feel integrated into the site while also benefiting from natural scenery. As illustrated in the renderings, the project reads as a collection of smaller elements rather than one larger building. And the use of the retained material palette helps it blend with the surrounding neighborhood. Overall design prioritizes sensitivity to the site, compatibility with the area, and a reduced visual footprint. We respectfully request your approval. Thank you for your time, and I'll open up to questions.
Wonderful, thank you for your presentation. Before we move on to public comments, does any commissioner have any questions of the applicant? You can, Vice Chair Sharon, you can start.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for being here today. I did have a few questions. Has the Los Angeles County Fire reviewed your plans and approved them, or
Yes.
given their?
We have a fire clearance
Okay, perfect.
for access.
And then, actually, that was answered already. And then, did you guys get approval from the Los Angeles County Environmental Health Department?
Yeah, I believe that was part of the EIR, right? The environmental health.
Public health for the septic. Yes, they did.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Septic has been approved twice. So.
I mean, this is a beautiful project, so, I mean, I can tell the hard work that you guys put into it. I think that's all I have. Oh, wait, hold on. Nope, that was answered as well. I also had a note here about wildlife moving, but I noticed that your fencing is going inside of the property pretty heavily, so like, there's gonna still be access for that wildlife, so.
Yes.
I may have more questions if
Okay.
they spark something.
Thank you.
Commissioner Stein?
I just really want to comment that I'm always a big proponent of people, actually taking two lots, making them into one, developing it on one parcel, so leaving more open space, restricted area. I like what you've been doing. I'm glad that you're able to work with the city and coming to, I just, like the project. Okay? I have no questions.
Thank you.
Commissioner Platzer?
I have one question. Is the septic tank already in there, or are you going to put in a septic tank?
It is a new septic tank. Yes.
New one.
Yeah, it is a new septic.
And I went to the property. I live in Agoura, and it's a beautiful property, but it looks a little complicated with the divisions. So what you have done is pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
As an Agoura resident.
Thank you, appreciate it. We tried to really minimize as much as we can and to, create a beautiful home and, keep it in the surrounding. So thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I don't believe I have any follow-up questions, other than I'm sure you've been working on this for years, and
It's taken a while.
appreciate that you've worked with staff closely to, make sure that the intent and the environment is respected. And I love that it's a one-story house. That's rare in this day and age.
Yeah.
And I like that it really does respond to the environment. I'm sure that it will be stunning once, once it's complete. And the idea of having kind of the, smaller outbuildings instead of just one massive space, again, I think pays respects to, the character of the neighborhood and to, the fact that you do back up into open